Nationalist Congress Party. Now that leaves us with a question that what is going to happen, and rather what is going to be the impact on the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. And specifically what I want to talk about is that how do these developments impact Congress as the principal opposition party? Is it advantage Congress? Is it really some very anxious moments for Congress? How does Congress take all these developments? I'm joined by Congress veteran and former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Prithviraj Chavan. So thank you so much for joining on the Federal.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, real pleasure to have you, sir, on the program. And my first question to you is that were you expecting this kind of a development in Maharashtra?
Well, to tell you the truth, yes. Reason being twofold. One is, if you look at the national perspective and forthcoming 2024 Lok Sabha elections, after Karnataka result, BJP doors of the South India are closed for BJP. The fourth assembly elections that are going to happen next few months, 3 Hindi heartland states and Telangana. BJP is not likely to do well because we won the 3 states in 2018. We have strong leaders in all the 3 states, and BJP has an issue with leadership. And we expect to do very well in the 3 Hindi heartland states. 2 of them we are currently ruling, and 1 was toppled through Operation Kamala. Telangana, we're going to fight a very strong battle against the party of the Chandrasekhar Rao. BJP has no stake there. So in the forthcoming 4 assembly elections to middle-sized states, BJP is not likely to do very well. That brings Maharashtra in the forefront as a frontline state. Maharashtra, which is 48 Lok Sabha seat, becomes very crucial for the ultimate outcome of the 2024 Lok Sabha election. There is no way that BJP current dispensation, pre-NCP split Shinde-Fadnavis government would have faced the combined onslaught of Mahavikas Aghadi, the 3 parties, the NCP, the Congress, and the Shiv Sena, whatever part of Shiv Sena that is with Uddhav Thackeray. Numerically, if you look at the percentage vote that we got earlier, tells you that we are way ahead of Shinde-Fadnavis. There's also a factor of, this resentment about the way the government was formed with Eknath Shinde, the feeling that there was Gaddari, there was a treachery, and so all didn't look well. So it was on the cards that they had to break the MVA, the Mahavikas Aghadi alliance. Without that, facing Lok Sabha election would be difficult. Facing any local body election and any other election will be difficult. Shinde-Fadnavis government has not been able to hold the local bodies elections for last 1.5 years.
No, but Mr. Chavan, everybody knew that, Sharad Pawar was the strongest binding glue of the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. And now with Sharad Pawar having, seemingly he looks weak at the moment. We do not know what the future holds for NCP. But with Sharad Pawar growing weak, don't you think that Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi has been caught really off guard?
No. It's not a question of off guard. This was bound to happen. BJP was working on it, but ultimate last straw on the camel's back was the succession issue within the NCP. When Mr. Pawar decided to sort of withdraw from active role, and he handed over the reins of power primarily, although there were other people also, to her daughter Supriya. And I don't think senior veterans like Praful Patel or a very senior leader in Maharashtra like Ajit Pawar liked that. They wanted to head the Delhi unit of NCP and the Maharashtra unit of NCP respectively. But because the father and the daughter relationship, that would not happen. I think that decision was announced. There was a upheaval in the NCP.
But do you believe that the succession plan could have been delayed by Sharad Pawar, then the things could have been better for Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi?
No, I don't know, because there's an internal politics. The condition of Mr. Pawar's health and all those issues are internal to NCP. It had to happen sometime or the other. And he chose that while he was quite active, this should happen. But whatever timing, problems would have happened. Let's not forget that other issues were also there. Number one, many of the NCP leaders were facing ED heat. Many of them were facing ED action. Many of them had been to jail. Mr. Bhujbal was in jail for 2.5 years. Mr. Anil Deshmukh was in jail for 1 year, more than a year. Mr. Another Nawab Malik, another minister, still in jail. Many have been raided, threatened with arrest. So there was the second aspect of the whole matter was that ED was putting enormous pressure because BJP wanted to break MVA, and the weakest link at that time appeared to be NCP. We were aware of the hobnobbing, or we were aware of
this was the principal factor why NCP broke, because of the pressure of the ED and the CBI.
All three, ED and CBI was one of the factors. That's why many people joined. Actively being pursued by ED. There was also this succession battle, which only affected the top leaders, Patel, Ajit Pawar, and others. And third thing was some of them wanted to become ministers. All three things combined together with intense pressure of BJP. There were meetings with the top leadership of BJP in Delhi. Ajit Pawar personally went. He pleaded for relief for his own family from ED. And of course, trying to get a best deal when the merger happened. It suited both parties. BJP wanted to strengthen itself by getting a group of NCP, active NCP workers, also weakening the MV in the process, and therefore bettering its prospect for the 2024 Lok Sabha election. They fully utilize the power of agencies, trouble these people, and all these things together, the succession, the ED heat, the BJP attempt to weaken the MV alliance, and all these things taken together, this was on the cards, and they were negotiating terms of power sharing for a very long time. Recently, I think there was a meeting at the highest level in Delhi between Shinde, Fadnavis, the two top leaders of BJP in the group in Maharashtra, and Ajit Pawar. And I think the ultimate power sharing formula worked out.
Right.
After that, it was a matter of actually in one of my election rallies in Karnataka election, I said in so many words that there are issues in NCP and we don't know how long NCP would continue to be with us. And Mr. Pawar got very angry, very upset, and he sort of said a lot of things about me, virtually abused me politically. But we knew that this is happening. The exact contour of the power sharing was not known, but that is now unfolding. 9 people from NCP have become ministers, all of them, and senior leaders like Mr. Patel, who has been, he was inseparable from Mr. Pawar in Delhi. He's also left Mr. Pawar and gone.
But Mr. Chavan, is this not a very big challenge for Congress also as a principal opposition party, which is looking at expanding its national footprint as well? Now, what if the same thing happens to Congress? What is the plan B for Congress if it's
let's look at it.
Happens?
We are talking of two different things. We're talking about a national alliance of all the opposition parties, the 17-party alliance. First meeting was held in Patna, and the next one is going to be held in Bangalore. So there, 17 party or 16, 17, 18, whatever the number of parties, NCP is just one party. NCP has about 4 or 5 MPs in Lok Sabha. And so any damage to it, maybe it will cause damage to 1 or 2 seats. In the national perspective, it's not going to be a major challenge. Right. But any detraction is, of course, not very good for the alliance. But there's no major upheaval in the alliance because he still remains the part of the large alliance. His strength from 5, 6 MPs may be reduced a little bit, 2, 3 constituencies. There may be a problem. I'm not saying there will be a problem. So to that extent, yes. And in Maharashtra, of course, 30 odd MLAs that may ultimately go with Mr. Ajit Pawar would have been with us in the next election, Lok Sabha Assembly, are now going to be against us. So to that extent, MVA is weakened. How does it affect Congress party? Of course, the MVA appears to be a little weak. Now, we had a huge head start.
No, but
ahead
allow me to interrupt you. You said that MVA looks a little weaker. But what about Congress individually, if I may ask you, is it advantage Congress? Because
no,
as far as I know, we were reading that there was a CLP meeting in the morning, and where there were reports that apparently Congress will now stake claim to the post of the LOP in Maharashtra.
no, there are two things. Whether Congress party will get advantage from it, no. Some people are claiming that, but I don't see it that way. The space for secular parties, left or center parties, no, we have a little more space, little more elbow room, because that space we're sharing with NCP. So we have little more elbow room. That's right. Now, so to that extent, I wouldn't call it a great advantage, but yes, we are moving towards two parties. One, right of center Hindutva parties who are not very keen about protecting the constitution as it exists today. And we are keen to protect the constitution, the secular values and democracy, liberal democracy. So these are two different vichardharas, two different thoughts. And
but does that leave Congress with a greater ground for maneuvering things as far as the alliance politics is concerned?
As I said, within that left of center space, we have a little more elbow room that remains. But advantage in numbers and all that, I don't know. You asked about LOP. LOP question, the leader of opposition question, is not even a question. I don't think it needs to be discussed. The time-honored practice in the parliamentary democracy anywhere and in India, in national level parliament or in states, is that the largest party in an opposition alliance gets the position of leader of opposition. So that's a no-brainer. Of course, we have to wait for the ultimate break of the NCP, who's got how many numbers. There are two factions of NCP. One has gone to join the government, other faction is in the opposition. What is the strength of the opposition faction of the NCP? If it is less than Congress, which is 45 with us, NCP was for 53 earlier. Apparently 35 or 36 MLAs have gone with Ajit Pawar, so that leaves about 17, 18 MLAs with Mr. Sharad Pawar. So we willy-nilly become the largest party in the MVA alliance. So question of who gets the leader of opposition doesn't even arise. It is a natural right of the largest party, which is the Congress party. So who is nominated to be the leader of the party, whether the current group leader is elevated and given the responsibility of leader of opposition or not, that's what Central High Command of the Congress party did decide. I mean, there should not even be a discussion on this issue. It belongs to the largest party, which would be Congress eventually. But we are not sure about whether the final numbers of NCP are out. Because if Mr. Ajit Pawar does not have 36 or 37 MLAs, then he attracts anti-defection provision. So Mr. Pawar is trying very hard to win back the MLAs who left him, who did not get a ministerial berth. So that is still an open question. Tomorrow, both parties, both factions, the Ajit Pawar faction, which I jokingly call ED faction, the NCP, and the other faction, which is the parent faction, that is Sharad Pawar faction, are meeting 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And I think in those meetings, we'll know which MLA has gone to which side. So total number of MLAs supporting either side will be known. Then the picture will become a little more clear. But if Ajit Pawar does not get the requisite number of 36, then there is a serious issue with his continuation. He stands to be disqualified. But I'm sure he must have taken adequate precaution to see that there are MLAs with him. I think that's that. We have a situation of a split before us in FBA. Not a very happy situation. And it's not to say that it will not affect us at all. Will not be correct. I mean, of course, it will be there, but Mr. Pawar is hitting the road, is going to campaign aggressively, and will be aggressively campaigning with him to make sure that the secular or the MV alliance remains intact and we try and defeat BJP in Maharashtra.
But Mr. Chavan, Praful Patel was there in the Patna meeting. He was sitting there. We all saw him. He was there at the table when the opposition parties were talking amongst themselves. Now with Praful Patel, because of whatever pressure, he's moved on and he's joined hands with the BJP government. Is this not a challenge? Now, say, for example, the next meeting, which is coming up in Bangalore, we are told that Jayant Chaudhary from the RLD also will be joining the opposition meeting in Bangalore. But at the same time, he's also trying to explore options with NDA. Now, if you have sitting moles inside the opposition camp. Is this not a very big challenge?
No, I won't.
It can be just weaned away by the NDA or the BJP with whatever
No,
might
I
they
won't,
have.
I won't use the word mole. You talked about Praful Patel. As long as he was a member of the NCP, a senior leader of NCP, a working president, he attended the Patna meeting. Things happened between Patna meeting and the forthcoming Bangalore meeting. Praful Patel is no longer in the larger alliance, and he's no longer the working president of Sharad Pawar's faction. So he's not part of the opposition alliance. He'll be replaced by somebody else like Jayant Patil or something. Mr. Pawar will be there along with Supriya Shule, who is the working president, and he may nominate some other person because three people from each party appear to be attending those meetings. So I think that would not happen, but Mr. Sharad Pawar's NCP is the weakened, is split. So the number of MPs, of course, the number of MPs in parliament, both houses, Mr. Sharad Pawar has more than the other faction. So he will attend. So that is not an issue there. Now, Jayant Chaudhary, you talked about it. It's quite possible that some people may, as time passes, get a better deal from BJP and may go away. So 17 parties may become 16, 17 parties may become 18, 19, who knows. But our attempt is to make sure that one opposition candidate opposes one BJP candidate. There's 1:1 fight. And unlike in 2014 and 2019, we do not allow opposition votes to be split. If you have 1:1 fight, then we're sure of winning. Right. And Mr. Modi, of course, knows this and he's aware of it. And therefore, he's trying to make sure that the opposition unity doesn't happen. The constituents of opposition parties who attended the meeting are being weaned away or threatened. ED action is happening. You saw Tejasvi Yadav, CBI has moved against him. This will continue to happen. But people of the country are watching the dismal performance of the economy, what's happening to prices, what happens to the unemployment, what happens to the farmers' issues, the women's issues and all that. And the fact that Mr. Modi is desperate, particularly after he was trounced in Karnataka, notwithstanding his personal effort to win. So mood is swinging. Modi magic is no longer working. And it's also proven that Modi can be defeated. And that's a very big question.
But coming back to the developments in Maharashtra, Mr. Chavan, where do you think in the current scheme of things, where does it leave Eknath Shinde? Where does it, where does Devendra Fadnavis stand in the scheme of things or whatever is happening? There is disgruntlement within the Shinde camp. Many MLAs within the Shinde camp have been saying that, apparently they haven't got the cabinet portfolios and they might just cross over again back to Shiv Sena. Now, how is it really going to unfold within the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi if you have Eknath Shinde coming back to Uddhav Thackeray's camp?
No, I think we are jumping the gun. I think we're too far ahead. I don't think anybody's talking about Mr. Eknath Shinde coming back to Uddhav Thackeray camp. That's too far-fetched at the moment. So one thing is very clear, Mr. Modi...
But are you ruling this out completely? Because in politics,
no, not yet, but I think at the moment it looks far-fetched. Okay. Let the cabinet portfolio distribution be over. Let there be dissemination. I'll also touch another topic, which is a theme that Mr. Eknath Shinde is still facing the disqualification inquiry, which is pending the speaker.
Right.
I'll come to that later. The main point is, Mr. Narendra Modi is willing to sacrifice anybody in order to achieve his objectives of returning power. Whether it's Devendra Fadnavis, whether it's Shinde, ultimate objective is that no matter the political ideology, no matter what other people have done in the past, no matter what he has said about the NCP leaders about a week back in Bhopal, when he called out Mr. Sharad Pawar for a 70,000 crore scam in irrigation and cooperative bank scam. The person who is being investigated for that scam, you make a deputy CM. So I think he is willing to sacrifice anybody, any person, any ideology, any principle in order to retain power. So that's my...
Yeah, you made an important point, Mr. Chavan, but that brings me to the question that do you think that BJP has got NCP on its side because it very well knows that probably the Shinde MLAs will be disqualified by the speaker, and apparently that's their plan B, to get their ammunition ready along with NCP?
I think if you ask me, the Supreme Court has remitted the matter to the speaker. The Constitution says that any disqualification decision has to be taken by the Speaker of the Assembly. So it has rightly been remitted to the Speaker on 11th May.
Hmm.
But there's also a Supreme Court judgment which says that Speaker must decide within 90 days, which is by 10th of August.
10th of August, yes.
Now, and we also feel that there has been the 10th schedule of the Constitution, the anti-defection provisions have been clearly violated by Mr. Shinde and his 16 friends. So he stands to be disqualified. The Speaker does not give that verdict because it belongs to BJP. Then we approach the Supreme Court, which we can do after this verdict comes up. So we're quite sure that first of all, the case is very strong against Mr. Shinde. But I think BJP would very well use this provision to convince Mr. Shinde to step down, because they have convinced themselves, the internal reports, the surveys have shown that if they go under the leadership of Eknath Shinde and face Lok Sabha election, they are not likely to do well, but there's anger against them. So that's why the plan B of BJP is to slowly ease Mr. Shinde out, maybe ask him to resign so that he doesn't face disqualification, or maybe let him be disqualified. He can contest the election again. His son can be accommodated in Delhi cabinet because he's a member of parliament, whatever. And at that time, the position of chief minister will be vacant. And my understanding is that Ajit Pawar has been promised that position as the chief minister. So as his people are telling everybody when the split occurred, that Ajit Pawar did not do this big play against his uncle and break a party of 23 years just to become a deputy CM for the 5th time in a row. He wants to become the chief minister. And that promise he extracted, and that was the negotiations that were going on. Ultimately, when the agreement was there at the highest level, this thing has happened. So I won't be surprised if by August or before that, Mr. Shinde will be eased out. They'll do it nicely in order to rehabilitate him somewhere else. And somebody else will become chief minister, somebody else who will lead the BJP alliance into election, and that could very well be Ajit Pawar.
Right. But Mr. Chavan, all sorts of conspiracy theories are floating at the moment, and talking specifically about Sharad Pawar, many people also say that, this is a conspiracy which has been worked and mechanized very, very well by Sharad Pawar himself, because he knows that, he would do away with the family feud if once Ajit Pawar becomes the deputy chief minister, or maybe the chief minister, as what you're saying, according to the plan run by the speaker, if he disqualifies the Shinde MLAs. And at the same time, Sharad Pawar is trying to explore options with the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. So it's like he's having all his fingers in two different pies. One with the BJP, where he keeps his family comfortable, and the other one, he's exploring options with the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi.
I think you could make that accusation, because that's what happened in the last time, 3.5 years back, when Ajit Pawar took oath early morning with Devendra Fadnis. Apparently, Mr. Pawar knew about it. We didn't know about it until Mr. Fadnis talked about it recently. But this time it is not so, because this whole split has primarily happened because of succession battle. It is Mr. Pawar wants to hand over the reins of NCP to his daughter, Supriya, which other people are not accepting. So it is fundamentally who leads the party in future after Mr. Pawar. Now, if Mr. Pawar ultimately wants to give it to Supriya and these people don't agree, then what position they get is immaterial, because they're getting those positions only to regain the party or whatever it is. So this time, I don't think this is the plan B, or this is the first group of people, the second group.
Mr. Chavan, wouldn't the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi, and of course, I'm talking about specifically about Congress and Shiv Sena, wouldn't you take Sharad Pawar with a pinch of salt, given the fact that he already has an alliance with BJP in Nagaland, and now with the kind of maneuverings which are happening in Maharashtra, how much can you really trust Sharad Pawar with the kind of...
Point is, if he wants to take a different view, he's free to do it. He's an independent party. We can't hold him to it. But I think, you must look at it. If you look at his political upbringing, his family background, it has been always left of center. His family members belong to a local party in Maharashtra called Shetkari Kamgar Paksha, the Peasants and Workers Party. So that has been generally, he has been steeped in the Phule Shahu Ambedkar tradition, left of center. All of a sudden, for him to chunk all that is a 50-60-year legacy and join hands with the BJP and become a saffron with a half chaddi nikar wala and go and pay obeisance at RSS headquarters in Nagpur. That is a little far-fetched. Yes, adjustments, yes, he has done a deal with, he got his people, supported BJP in Nagaland. He's also said in 2014 that we'll support BJP and all that. So these are the compulsions at time, but largely I don't think he'll go and join BJP. In my view, I may be wrong. But this time, the split is for real. He has vowed to hit the road and rebuild the party from zero, whether he gets the symbol or not. He said, I'm the symbol. Whether the watch symbol that this party has, whether it remains with him or goes to Ajit Pawar is immaterial. And he came to my hometown, Karad, yesterday, to pay obeisance to the Samadhi of late Prithviraj Chavan, the mentor, his guru. And I was there also. Huge enthusiasm among the young crowd, NCP crowd, which are there. So I think who really controls NCP, that question is not answered yet. The MLAs could move from one side to other, but whether people have moved is another question. Same thing about the Shiv Sena split. Whether Mr. Shinde has gone away from the parent Shiv Sena, but have the Shiv Sena cadres joined Shiv Sena, that only election will tell.
Similarly, but, Mr. Chavan, what are you picking up from your political sources? Because Ajit Pawar has been claiming that he has the support of some 40 MLAs. But still, the number remains a mystery as to how many MLAs are backing Sharad Pawar and how many MLAs are backing Ajit Pawar.
Yeah, I think, see, one thing is very clear. They had a group of 53. So in order to carry out a 2/3 split, they need 36.
36, yes.
Period. So if they have short of 36, they face disqualification. I'm sure Ajit Pawar, when he took this step, must have had collected signatures of 36, 37, 38 MLAs. He is even reported to have collected affidavits from some people. The problem with signatures is the person can tomorrow turn back and say, look, I never signed, or the signature of obtained under a false pretext and other things. So tomorrow's meeting is crucial. They're meeting at 11 o'clock, one group, the second group is meeting at 1 o'clock. And number of MLAs that are present in each meeting would tell us who's got what strength. Some MLAs may say, "Can dono bhi meeting attend karenge." They may go to the morning meeting at 11 o'clock, one place, hear what the leaders have to say, go and attend the other meeting, and then take a call. So we're not sure. But I think within a day or two, the situation will have to be clear. It seems that Mr. Pawar is prepared to accept the split, that maybe 2/3 or more MLAs are with Ajit Pawar, that he may lose the official party symbol. He is willing to fight. After all, he says, I am the symbol, I am the person, I am the face of the party. He'll hit the road. He's done it in the past. So, well, of course, he's at age 83. So enthusiasm that he had in 1980 may not be there today. But yes, he has taken a vow that I'll teach these people a lesson. And if he hits the road, who knows? These people will...
Absolutely. One last question, Mr. Chavan, before I wind up the interview, that here in Maharashtra, the situation is quite piquant. You have two leaders who are fighting for a legacy now. One is Uddhav Thackeray, who's fighting for the legacy of Bala Saheb Thackeray and whatever has happened with his party. Now you have another party, NCP, where, you know, again, there's a fight for legacy. My final question again to you is that does this situation leave Congress in an advantageous position? Because two regional parties are struggling in Maharashtra. Will that give Congress enough space to expand itself politically and also in terms of the expansion of the base as well?
Well, see, the fate of the regional party, we all see. There is a limited reach. They don't have a national footprint, although they try to create. Congress party is a national party. We have a national footprint. And therefore, in a national election, Congress party will always have an advantage. But in Maharashtra, we'll sit down, we'll work out a seat sharing arrangement. How many seats will Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray group contest? What now current...
This was also a fact that things were not very easy between Congress and NCP. All sorts of reports of unease were emerging from certain quarters, that all was not well within Congress and NCP.
No, it's not that. When Mr. Ajit Pawar was there, the large party, he wanted a bigger... See, there are 48 Lok Sabha seats. All three parties are contending. So one could say that, well, let us begin with 16, 16, 16, and then work out how many seats we can exchange. We get two more or you get two less and all that. That will happen. Of course, equations are not changed with post the NCP break. Otherwise, earlier, three parties had fairly large number of, fairly equal share of it. But being a national party, Congress party will always have an advantage. I think let's see how things play out. But we are sure we are supporting Mr. Sharad Pawar in his fight against the other forces, which are joint communal forces, his nephew. And we will do amicable seat sharing. Leader of opposition issue is non-issue. The largest party will get that. The Congress party will decide who to nominate as the leader of opposition. Still 1 year, close to 1 year for Lok Sabha election, and maybe 1.5 years for the Assembly election in Maharashtra. I think there's a lot of learnings from the Karnataka outcome. People defeated BJP because of corruption. People defeated BJP because they tried to divide the society on communal and religious lines. They formed a government by Operation Kamala, the horse trading and all that, which exactly the same thing is happening in Maharashtra. So I think outcome in Maharashtra would be similar to Karnataka, provided, of course, only difference is Karnataka, there's one party fighting one party. Congress versus BJP state fight.
Mr. Chavan, another question which comes to my mind, that if this is BJP's tactics, the way they abduct democracy, the way they abduct the mandate of the people, would it not be seen as some kind of a dent on the opposition unity as well? No matter how much you try, and BJP with all its might, with all its tactics, will come down heavily on the opposition.
No, but that's fine. That is what Mr. Modi will do, all that is required to keep power, to win election in 2024. But see, point is, opposition unity is a major signal that an attempt now that is being done, that we put only one candidate against BJP's candidate and avoid division of votes, which happened in 2014 and 19. If that happens, no matter what Mr. Modi does, it pick up a party here, damage somebody here, put somebody behind bars and all. I think people will vote. People are now looking for an alternative. 2014, 2019 was different. Now, gimmicks like Balakot will not work now. Even Ram Mandir or Uniform Civil Code will have a limited appeal beyond a certain thing. I think ultimately roti kapda makan issues will dominate. The Mahungai, the Berozgari, the slow growth rate, the women's issues, all that will dominate. And Modi appears flustered. He appears beatable. He was beaten in Karnataka. And so I think all this is good, what is going on. He's accusing NCP of corruption and taking the same people into a cabinet next day. I mean, people are seeing all that.
Right.
So I think clearly BJP is on the run. They don't know which way to turn. The civil code or the what.
And you think all that is not going to work in favor of BJP?
So this is going to be a turning point, a decisive election. And of course, we'll try to strengthen opposition unity to the best possible. They'll try to make sure that the opposition unity doesn't happen. That's the challenge before us in the next few days.
Absolutely. Wish you all the best. And thank you so much, Mr. Chavan. It was wonderful having you on the program. And I want to appeal to the viewers who are watching this interview, subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to the Federal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chavan. Thank you so much.